Hi everyone, this is Kenneth Choo. Welcome to episode 29 of Mother Industrialist live show where we talk about entrepreneurship, parenting, and life. And today I have this really great guest, and she's an author. She's also a content coach. She's a new mom. She's just became a new mom, and I'm so happy to invite her onto the show. And without further ado, let us welcome Monica. Hi Monica. Hi,
Hey,
welcome.
Ken.
Hi.
Thank you for having me on the show today.
No problem, no problem. Thanks for making time. I know that you just became a mom. You're really busy with your newborn. He's 2 months, right?
Yes, he
Yeah.
is.
And then welcome Anthony. I can see that he's in the background, is it?
He is actually underneath my desk in a walker.
Okay,
I'm
okay.
walking him with my feet.
Okay, so before we kickstart the show, there's a tradition which is every guest get to pose a question of the day out to the audience and to the next guest. So are you ready with the question of the day before we kickstart with the
Yes.
show? Okay, the question of the day that is posted out by the previous guest is, what has been the practice for you to juggle work, life, and children? So I repeat again, the question of the day is, what has been the practice for you to juggle work, life, and children? So I believe this question of the day is really something that you can answer it with passion, because now you are going through that phrase. And I'll spend some time to think about the answer while I go onto Facebook Live to check if we are live successfully. Is it alright for you? I'll come back to
Yes,
you.
it is.
Okay, give me a while.
Okay.
Just let me check if we are good. Okay, we are in. Okay, I hear my voice. Okay. Okay, waiting for your part. Okay, so long intro. Okay. Okay. Okay, good. I can hear you loud and clear. So, Monica, are you ready with your answer to the question of the day?
Yes, I am, I
Okay,
believe.
good. Share
It's
it
probably
with
going to be a
us.
lot of themes we're going to be talking about today, actually.
Cool.
So I'm not, I'm just a new mom. I mean, I just gave birth to my beautiful baby boy 2 months ago, back in December. And so I just really been back at work for the last, month and a half. And I think one of the things that has helped me to balance everything is, one, it is what it is. I mean, you just have to be relaxed about things, because I used to work all day. So I got started with my day anywhere between 8 o'clock and 9 o'clock in the morning. And I will wrap up about 4:35 whenever my husband got home, with an hour lunch between then. And now it's like I might work 3 hours a day, I might work 5 hours a day. So I think it's setting up a little bit of, here's kind of how my day will go. But if it doesn't go that way, so be it.
It's fine, right?
So I guess it's more relaxed. Don't get caught up in, I have to get this done, when who's more important. And right now your children, my child is more important. So if my child is going to come first before anything else. And so that's where I really think setting up some boundaries on yourself. I think especially yourself is just setting up that boundary of, yes, I need to get this work done, but my baby needs me, so I need to pay attention to my baby, because you only have this little time with them. And I want to make sure that I watch them grow, or watch him grow, and watch him mature, and be with him during those moments. I don't want to be thinking back saying, well, nobody's going to think back and say, well, I really wish I would have worked on that client's project more. No, people are going to be saying, I really wish I would have spent that much time with my child. So I think just giving yourself that boundary and then giving yourself grace.
Good.
So I think that may not have answered the question, but I feel like
you did.
I feel like that's kind of like what I have done.
Which is good, and that explains like how relaxed you are now. Even with Anthony around, you are still very relaxed. although we are on the
Trying to
live
be.
show. Yeah. So I guess it's more relaxed in a way. And that is really an awesome answer. And now we can kickstart with the show, Monica. So maybe before we start maybe you can do a short introduction about yourself to share with us what were you doing prior to what you are doing now, and where are you from, and what is your background like. So maybe you can share with us and share with the audience.
All right. So, first of all, I was born and raised in a little town called Byron, Georgia, about a couple hours south of Atlanta, Georgia, and that's where I grew up. I was actually I grew up in Peach County, and I loved to write. Writing was my role. I used to write all these little books. While I was a teenager, I actually wrote a series of books. One of them only got published, and it wasn't even that series. It was a completely different book at the age of 18. So I published my first book at 18, and I always wanted to be an author. But as I got older, I realized authors typically don't make a lot of money. Or, by selling the books anyways. So then I wanted to get into the publishing industry, but I knew I wanted to stay at home because my mom stayed at home with us. I wanted that in my life. I wanted to raise my children being at home, but yet working. And so I knew it had to do something with writing. So I got married when I was 22 back in 2011, and my husband was in Germany. And so we were in Germany for 2 years, but that's where I began writing human interest stories for the base. Because I went talked to the person who was running like the articles, and I asked her like, hey, I'm a writer, I would like to contribute. So she got me to do some human interest stories, which was a lot of fun. That's where I discovered I love hearing people's stories. Like I love listening to them, and I love just prodding them for more information, and then taking that information and putting it into an article. Of course, the article was short and the interview long, but still it was just fascinating how people got from one end to now and just their life story. And then once we got back to the States, well, right now I'm currently in Cheyenne, Wyoming, out of all places. And for some of you don't know where Wyoming is. It's right above Colorado.
Oh, okay.
So anyways, that's where I am. And so when we got stationed here, I decided to open up my doors to my entrepreneur business. I started out freelance writing, but then I realized I have a voice, and I'm not really good at changing my voice to match your voice, mainly because, I don't know, I guess I'm just like that. So I decided to change my business venture a little bit more. And that's whenever I became a content strategist, because I had to go back to what do I love doing? And I love hearing people's stories, and I love listening to them and then saying, hey, here is what you can be writing about inside of your business. Here is, here's this story, but it goes with like this topic. And I mean, people were blown away by just them just sharing with me, and then I'm coming up with all these topics. And that's where I finally found my genius, was I love doing that. I'm really good at it, and I love seeing the big picture. Like, okay, here's your content, but here what you can do with it. And it just became a lot of fun. So that's kind of how I ended up where I am today. Is I'm a content strategist for coaches, authors, and speakers, because they have a message. And most of the time I find that they don't know how to get their message out, or they think, well, I can put it in a book, or I could put it, I could go speak about it, but they don't think about the content. And content is so important in today's online world. And that's where I come in and take those speeches, take those books, and say, here's some content. Because content is going to help you build your SEO and build your online presence, build your expertise. I mean, it just does so much for you and your business. And so people hire me to help them get that, into a system, and they can go and implement it.
Wow. And that also brings us to today's topic, which is how to work through the changes from entrepreneur to mompreneur. Because I can hear that you started the business way before you become a mom, and you have been in business for many years, right?
For about, it's 2014. So what, like 3.5 years? It would be like 4 years this like August or September-ish.
So before you start up your business, were you doing in terms of writing? You were doing freelance writing, right?
So I actually, well, I did a little bit of freelance writing. I actually interned with a speaking coach. This is where I got my ideal audience. She was a speaking coach, and so she didn't pay me, but I was able to find, I helped her write her articles, which was her newsletters, blogs, and I really liked it. She just gave me some topics and just said, go crazy. And that's what I did. And it was, she was really easy to work with, and I really liked her. And then I worked with a couple other coaches and speakers before, going into content strategy. But I did a little bit of writing. I wrote some articles for Big Brothers, Big Sisters. It's a nonprofit here in the States. I worked for them before opening up my doors. I worked there for a year, and I did some article writing for them. But I found that there's a little bit of red tape. There's red tape with nonprofits or even corporations. Yep. And that's whenever I found I would like to write for coaches and speakers who are not bound to this red tape. They're more creative, they're more free, because I feel like it gives me more freedom to get them to help them express themselves in a better way.
Wow. So it seems that you're really enjoying your work, and at the same time, because how is motherhood for you so far? Because your baby boy is just 2 months old, and you're in that transition. And because before we come onto the show, I met you when you were how many months pregnant? How many weeks? Oh gosh,
I want to say it was anywhere between 7 or 8 months. I think I was 8 months pregnant.
Yeah, and
something like that.
And we met over before this show, before like to get to know each other, and you were still wondering, hey, I do not know whether we could fix a date because I do not know exactly, although they kind of like your EDD of when Anthony is going to be delivered or be born. But you kind of like, I do not know whether I could handle. And now it seems like you are handling it well. You're having him on the side or in the interview. So how is it for you after you become a mom? What are the changes? Is there any changes from you before becoming a mom, like from entrepreneur to now a mompreneur? You are handling your kid and doing your business at the same time. So what are the changes that you experience after you become a mom, especially in your business?
There's a lot of changes. Number one, no one ever told me everything takes long. I mean, everything just longer. I mean, the moment you say, oh, I need to go out, I need to go out to go grocery shopping. You're like, oh yeah, I have to feed my son. And that's going to take like another 20 minutes or 30 minutes. Oh yeah, I have to do that first. I mean, it just takes so long to do anything. And so before, of course, I could just get up and go. Now it's just like, okay, is Anthony fed? Is he changed? Or trying to think, okay, if I fed him an hour ago, I need to go. And then, okay, then I can be back in another hour. Then it'll be about feeding time for him. So that's like, I'm thinking about that. I'm strategizing.
Yes.
And so I'm really doing that now. And, I work on his schedule. I don't work on mine, number one. So that's, first of all, that's the first change. I no longer work on my schedule unless my husband's at home. And then I can hand him over to my husband. And Nathan, my husband, is really good with him. So Nathan, my husband, would take over and take Anthony and, play with him or do whatever I go do, whatever I need to go do. Not be a mom for an hour or so. And so that's the first change. I think the second change is like I was telling you before, I don't work as long. It's a good day if I put in 5 hours of me, just doing some work. Because I find that mornings are hard. I'm up anywhere between 1 or 2 times a night with him. I was telling you that I was up at 2:15 this morning with him. And he woke up about 5:30, which was good timing because it's 7 o'clock here in the morning. So, mornings are rough. Sometimes I sleep in because he kept me up a little bit longer, or after I put him down, it took me a while to go back to sleep. So sometimes I sleep in. And I have to be okay with that. And then I don't get as much done, or I start my day, but then he interrupts it, or a phone call, or other things happen. And I've just kind of had to learn, today would be what it's going to be. Here are my goals. If I don't get that done, I don't get that done. And I'm realizing that I have weekly goals. I always try to set up a couple of weekly goals. And now I'm trying to cut back. I mean, I was doing 3, but now it's kind of like, maybe I should just focus on one big weekly goal. And hopefully that'll be done. And if it's not, then there's next week. That's kind of my mindset of, my transition, I think right now is just being relaxed and knowing that, hey, if this gets done, it gets done. If it doesn't, it doesn't. And then, of course, while I'm feeding Anthony, I try to do things, with one hand. If that is calling somebody, call somebody. What can I do with one hand right now? So I have to be creative with how my days went or won.
Wow, it seems like you're having a lot of things, but you have put it in very concise and explain it to us, and you are not having that like what most mothers will have, that kind of frustration. You seem to be taking it very positively, and is it because that you are in control of your time? Because if I cannot imagine if you are in a job at 9 to 5, that you have to come back, you have to feed him and stuff like that. So is it because of the lifestyle? Because you are already an entrepreneur, you have your own business, you manage your own time. Does that help a lot?
I think that, and I have a power partner. Her name is Laura Pensatencio. She's a marketing coach down in Denver, Colorado, and we have partnered up. And so we are working very closely together, and my cat is going to join us. This is Sassy.
Hi, Sassy.
So anyways, I have
tail? Or just walk
yeah.
past.
She has not been getting her attention the way she wants lately. So so she tries to hog it whenever Anthony's not in my arms. So so we partner up, and it has really helped because, number one, she's a mom. She's a mom of a 4-year-old.
Wow.
And she was an entrepreneur when she gave birth to her, little girl. And the thing was, she told me, she was like, Monica, this year you are going to be focusing on, raising Anthony. She's like, there's so many changes he's going to go through. And she's like, I know you want to be there and really be there with him. And she was like, let's just focus on what we're going to do. So we are focusing on what we're going to do, which creates less work for me, because now I have a partner helping me do a lot of the work. We're splitting the work, and she knows. I mean, she remembers the days where she didn't get things done.
She was
like, Mom. Yeah, she was like, Monica, you're a mom, it's okay. And she's the one who kind of keeps me grounded when I start like asking, am I doing enough? Am I, I feel like this, or I feel like I'm falling behind. Am I providing enough? And for Anthony, she's just like, yes, Monica, you're doing good.
Great. Yeah.
And so that has been like a really good power partner for me. And then, like I said, we are working very closely together this year. So everything we're doing is split, and that helps me to stay focused. I mean, not to say I'm still doing my own thing. I'm still hosting classes and workshops for my own business, but for the most part, a lot of it is just me who, collaboration. So I think that has made a big difference in my business, and I encourage anyone to find a power partner in certain areas, so that way, if you feel you're getting overwhelmed in your own business, if you power partner up, you can split the work. Correct. And it makes life a little bit easier.
And I realized that you had a partner who's a mom, and she understands the struggle that you're having, and she was an entrepreneur, and she became now a mompreneur, and she basically understands everything that you're going through, and the struggles, because she was once like that. I have no idea whether she has a partner back then, like a partner that is a mother, but I'm so glad that you have a partner that is a mom that could understand, feel you, and really support you, because I believe that and that's the reason that why I I wanted to share a lot. Like for me, what the reason why I wrote my book, which is Mother Industrialist, where I have 15 mompreneur stories that is featured in the book, so that other mothers can be able to relate to it, resonate with it,
Mhm.
and also maybe to inspire them. And who knows that they may become their mentor in the future. Like for you, you have your
Exactly.
partner really like a mentor, not just into business, it's also as a mother, because you're a new mom and she has a 4-year old and you have a 2-month old. So she can share a lot of parenting tips with you. And I believe that if she has been doing the business and now partnering with you, having a 4-year old and 4-year old, there's another set of challenges. So you
Oh
can
yeah,
learn, yeah, you can learn from her, you can see from her, and I believe that she can help you a lot in managing or in the motherhood and also business at the same time. And also,
exactly.
I'm so happy for you because you found a partner that can help you in all areas, not just into business. And what is the difference between, like, you have been an entrepreneur, you have been building your business, and now being a mompreneur. So what is the difference? Maybe 3 differences, or you have more differences that you can share with us. Like,
So there's a lot of differences between an entrepreneur and a mompreneur. So the other day I was meeting one of my friends, Anastasia Button.
mm,
She's the one who introduced us.
yes.
And so she posted on her wall, like, I'm up at 4 a.m. hustling. And I'm like, I'm up at 4 a.m. feeding my son. And I'm going back to bed. So there's like that huge difference of, I feel like, as an entrepreneur, you're hustling.
Yeah.
And as a mompreneur, you hustle, but it's not hustling. There's a difference. Like you hustle in a different way.
Yes.
I think you're hustling to go to sleep.
Yeah. To get more
Um,
sleep, right?
exactly. So I feel like let me see, the difference is, it's just, once again, entrepreneurs, like, I feel like I was always working, because my husband, he works during the day, and it's really easy to work whenever he's not at home.
Yeah.
And now I have somebody else who is controlling my life to a degree.
Yeah.
Sometimes I get things done, sometimes I don't. So I think mompreneur is really just, I feel like right now I'm learning to give myself lots and lots of grace. Just realizing that things may not work out the way I want them to. I mean, I get get this done or get that done. But I have a more important job, and that's Anthony right now. And that is okay. And so just giving myself that grace. And then just working around Anthony's schedule, and then trying to put him on a schedule, which has been kind of hard. I feel like he's going through a different phase now, so his schedule is all over the place.
Yeah.
So I'm trying to get him back on a schedule. And then it doesn't help when my husband's home, because whenever he's home, he gets Anthony off the schedule. But I think he's definitely working around those challenges, and then working around sometimes my tiredness. And I feel like as a mom, no one ever told me this. I'm going to tell people this. If you're like pregnant or you're about to become a mom, this is what you might be experiencing. I feel like my tiredness, it's not in physical tiredness. It's not like, oh, I'm tired. It's an emotional tiredness. And I feel like sometimes it comes out in business, because I think, I have all these thoughts. Am I doing good enough? Am I paying attention to my child? Am I, should I be giving more time? I'm not doing tummy time like I should. And just all these new thoughts come into my mind. And I have to just say, Monica, he's not dead. He's alive. He's breathing. He's happy. You changed the diaper. You fed him. You're doing the best you can. So I think going back to, you're doing the best you can. And lately I've been writing down blessings that I have in my life.
Wow.
And, just to kind of keep myself grounded, and to realize how God is blessing me in my life. And that's been a huge help, just to see physically, as I write down these other things that are going on, that I can count as blessings in my life. So, because I think I could get caught up in the negative, oh, I'm not getting all this done, or my time is no longer my time, but it's going back to, how is God blessing me today? He blessed me with Anthony. He smiles. Somebody paid for my coffee. or I had a really good cup of coffee before we got on.
Yeah, and just now, before we start the show, he was like talking in the background, and the baby sound is really therapeutic, as long as it's not screaming, shouting, crying. But I guess it's really therapeutic, and also, and you said you shared something that is very I guess it's very important for mothers, especially new mothers, which is to be grateful for the new life that's happening in your life. Although there are things that change, like you're no longer in control of your time because you're following his schedule,
Uh-huh.
and definitely there are things that you'll lose, but at the same time you're gaining something in return, which is, I would say, priceless. And for you, you
Mm-hmm.
are you are you are being grateful, and also having this grace, um, taking it positively rather than feeling that, hey, I'm sacrificing, I'm losing this, losing that. But you felt that there's something in return. You are grateful for it, which is very, very important. And I really hope that a lot of mothers can learn from you the positive side of it, because there's whenever there's something that is new, we tend to be uncomfortable. Definitely, like for you,
Mm-hmm.
you are comfortable, and you said about it's not about the physical fatigue, the tiredness. It's more on the emotional. Like you felt that
Yes.
your heart is always it's like it's always being drained, because it's a new life. And also, as parents, we share a lot of love to them, and love
Yeah,
takes a
and
lot of energy from the heart, because you want the
oh, it
best for them.
does.
Yeah.
And you probably remember, the days where it seems like all you were doing was feeding and, changing their diaper, changing their clothes
Yeah.
because they were spitting up all over themselves. I mean, it's just like every time I turn around, I'm like feeding him or changing his diaper, changing his clothes. So yeah, that's another aspect of parenthood, and something that has not changed but changed a little bit, like
Mm.
I guess my perspective is comparison. Like as
Mm.
an entrepreneur, I feel like everyone does this to a degree. Is we compare ourselves to another person, like,
Mm.
oh, well, they're so much
Oh.
further ahead, and they've been in business way less than I have, and so you start doing that comparison syndrome.
Mm.
Now, whenever you have a baby, I find that I'm comparing my baby to other people's babies. I'm like,
Yeah.
oh, is he on track? Is he, is he growing? Is he doing this? Is he doing that? And, am I being a good mom? Comparing myself. And, I had one of my friends over. Her
Mm.
son is 2 months
Yeah.
older than Anthony.
Mm.
And she just told me, she was just like, you cannot compare your son
Yep.
to my son. She was like, my baby is a totally different baby.
Mm.
Your baby's totally different. And she was
Yep.
like, he will grow. He will mature the way he is. He's
Mm.
going to do it. She's like, my baby's going to do it on a different
Yep.
timetable. He's going to do it on a different timetable. And she was like,
Definitely.
don't compare. She's like, I know it's hard, Monica. It's
Wow.
so hard.
Mm.
So it's really nice to have, friends who,
Yes.
who have babies about the same time as you
Mm.
do.
Yep.
And hopefully they would give,
Support.
as a new mom,
Yep.
give you encouragement of don't compare your baby to my baby, because there's two different individuals. How
Mm.
can you do that? And so that has been, another area I have given myself grace in.
Which is like more like enlightenment. And you are so truly blessed to have friends who are so positive and telling you that your baby is different, a baby is different, they're on different timetable, different schedule, and they grew up differently. I would say they also
Yeah.
look different, so they are your child, they are child. So this is something that, like, the comparison is so normal. Like in the society, everything is very competitive. Like in school, we will
Yeah.
compare our grades with our classmates, and when we are in the workforce, we compare each other's performance at the job. So it's always normal. But I would say parenthood or motherhood is really different. Every child is different, grew up differently, and your schedule and your friend's schedule might be different as a mother. So it's really, really hard. But I would say that you have a lot of good friends, a lot of
Yeah.
good mentor around you that are giving you good advice, which I'm so truly blessed, and we want to share with all the mothers out there, is to really look out for this kind of friends, because even for motherhood, you need you are what kind of mom is also the average of the five mom that you mix with, I believe, because
Yeah.
with them giving you the right advice, like you have your partner who's a mom with a 4-year-old, she's been there, done that, she can give you the right advice, and you have a friend who's very clear that every child is different. There's no comparison, which is also a very good start for you, and that's why now I understand why um you are embracing, you are enjoying motherhood now, and you are like just now you were trying to pet Anthony after
Yeah.
milk or stuff like that to comfort him. So you look like a professional. You have gave birth to like 3 4 babies, children. You
Thank
seem
you.
you are so professional in doing all the movement and getting him to burp and stuff like that, which I'm like amazed. And because you're enjoying, you're full of laughter, which is the, I would say, the mindset of a lot of mothers, especially even before you gave birth. When we was talking, we were chatting, you strike to me as someone who's very positive. You do not, you even
I
looking
try.
forward, yeah, you try, at least you try. you're looking
I try.
forward you're looking forward to having Anthony in your life and stuff like that. You're
Hmm.
all prepared, which is a very important thing for expectant mothers, is to really enjoy and be happy to welcome your newborn. Yeah. And also, so what are the methods that you are using to balance your motherhood and your business at this point of time? So maybe you can share with us any ways or methods that you are using to balance your motherhood and business.
Yeah. I feel like I'm not really using any methods, to be honest. Um, once again, it goes back to I'm working on his schedule, but this is what I do. So I guess I could tell you maybe this is what I do, and maybe you can find it enlightening. I don't know. So what I do is, me and Anthony have a little system. Whenever I wake up, I'll go get him up, or sometimes he's in bed with me. So, as a new mom, you kind of want to put him in bed with you because you're like, oh, he's so cute. So I get him up, we get him changed, we get him ready for the day, and then of course we get him fed, and then I get my stuff ready, and then I usually try to be at my desk about 10. And usually he takes a morning nap, so I have between 10 and 12 with him. Then I try to eat lunch, try to feed him lunch. And so I try to have a little bit of a schedule, so that way he kind of knows that, oh, this is a schedule for the day, and it will hopefully get him used to, all right, I get up, I get dressed, and then I eat, and then the day gets started. I want him to start getting. I feel like it's more for me than for him. Just more for me right now. And so we do that, and then if I can work it during the afternoon, I do. Sometimes it happens, sometimes it doesn't. But I feel like the morning is usually my best time to get things done, and he doesn't really do much. He still just sits there, and talks to himself or goes to sleep. One of the things I found whenever I became a mom, I meant to mention this earlier, is I thought there was going to be a lot more crying, but there really isn't. And whenever he does cry or fuss, I know why. I know, oh, he's hungry. Oh, his diaper's full. Oh, he wants attention. Oh, he's tired.
Wow.
Oh, okay, we need to put him to bed. So I feel like as a mother, you know your child, you know what he needs whenever he needs it. I mean, sometimes you don't know. I mean, lately, we think he's teething. He's already teething. He's drooling a lot. So he's been really fussy.
Wow.
But even then, I know where you're just in pain. So let's try to make you more comfortable. What can we do?
Wow.
So I feel like as a new mom, like I know my kid, and it's a weird thing.
Yeah, which is rare. I would say it's really,
Oh, really?
yeah, it's really rare, because that's why I say that you look like you are very professional in babies. Like you have
Yeah.
gave birth to a lot, because whatever you shared just now is for mothers who have gave birth to maybe to the second one, that they know the crying means what. Because it's okay for me, I can feel it. Like when my daughter is back then, when she was still a newborn, there's different cry for different things. Like there's a long, like scream out of the lung kind of cry, which is she's hungry, and there's type of cry that she's uncomfortable, and when she pulls, there's a different kind of cry. So I do not know. Sometimes maybe it's the instinct, but it seems that you kind of like know it before it happens. So did you do
Usually,
anything before that, like reading and stuff like that, or it just instinct?
well, usually I know because, okay, if he got fed, an hour ago,
Hmm.
okay, usually he's not hungry, but
Hmm.
he gives you signs. For me, like Anthony would start like chewing on his fist or
Hmm.
his hands.
Hmm.
That's usually an indication, oh, you're hungry. Whenever he's tired, it's usually after, he eats or he feeds,
Hmm.
I know, oh, you're getting a little bit tired. Sometimes I just pick him up and he falls asleep. And you're like, oh, but you were just tired. Like yesterday, we were trying to get ready for church. I sat him down to eat some breakfast. I sat him down and he started wailing because he wanted to be held.
Hmm.
And finally, I just got him and he fell asleep. So I'm like,
Hmm.
oh, you were tired. That's what it was. So sometimes it's not always instinct, but it's just like, okay, you're fed, you are clean,
Hmm.
we changed your diaper.
Hmm.
So the only other thing is you could be tired or you're
Hmm.
just cranky because you didn't get your way.
Wow. Wow. It seems
So we
that,
kind of have that instant. I don't know,
and
it's really weird.
it's like you have all the steps being sorted out. Like it's like a checklist. Like, okay, he's fat. Okay, his diaper change. Okay, what is next? So you kind of like you are very clear about this, which I do not know. Like most mothers that I met, they are like all over the place. They kind of don't get what the child is doing. Um, Maybe it could be because you are very positive in receiving and having Anthony into your life, and that's why you're very clear rather than you're all over the place. You are so stressed out, but you doesn't seem to be. So is it in you, or is it like you have mentors, or you have like people that give you a lot of knowledge before you became a mom?
I think it's a little bit of everything. So first of all, I think first it's just instinct. A lot of it
Mm-mm.
is with Anthony. It's just that instinct of, oh, I know what to do. I don't know.
Mm,
I know what to do since he was born. It was so,
mm,
like I said, it's so weird. I never thought I would know these things. Never in my life thought I would just know what to do with a baby. But
mm.
I do. I know exactly why he's crying. And then, then I had a pretty good support group before.
Oh.
I had, my friends who was pregnant. There was like 3 of us that were pregnant
Mm,
all at the same
mm,
time.
mm, mm.
We gave birth within like 4 months, within like a 4-month span of each other. So, my friend had her baby in October. I had my baby in December. Another friend had her baby in January. Another friend of mine is having a baby in June.
Wow.
So I know
Huge
everybody's
support group.
having, like everybody's having babies here. Let me
Wow,
tell
it's a
you,
baby
that's
season.
something. It is. It's baby boy season.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Wow.
having baby boys.
Whoa, cool.
So I think having that, and then having some people kind of like going through it.
Mm, mm.
Like my friend Lori, her baby is 4 months and Anthony's 2 months. So she was there, and
Mm,
she's a little bit ahead of me, but she kind of tells me kind of what's ahead.
mm.
And because she told me, she was like, yeah, that first month, she was like, that was kind of hard.
Yeah.
And I happened to agree with her because I felt like the first month, you're trying to get adjusted to the new schedule. Now the schedule is pretty good. I know, he's not napping like he should, like he's awake right now. But
But it's not making any noise, which is really awesome.
oh yeah, I have him in a little walker, and
Mm.
has a little vibrator.
Mm.
So I think he likes the vibration, and then I'm
Wow.
walking him.
Wow, cool.
So he's good on that. So I think like having that support system, and then having some, a lot of people are just like, you just need to give yourself grace. I mean, I reached out to a Facebook group that I'm in, Savvy Business Owners.
Mm-mm.
It's one of my favorite groups. But I reached out to them and I was like, hey, I'm about to be a brand new mom. Like, what are some things that you would recommend to a brand new mom, just how to deal with the business afterwards? And a lot of people just said, enjoy the time you have, because like, you're not going to look back and say, well, I wish I would have worked on that client's project more. Like, no, like you just enjoy the time. If you work, great. If you don't, you don't. And so I have taken on a new perspective. I decided to be more relaxed this year. So I've been hanging out with more friends. I've been my friend whose baby's due in June, we've been hanging out almost weekly now, where either we go on walks or we just hang out and talk.
Wow.
You know, we talk about babies or we talk about whatever. So I've been having like myself just be more relaxed, just knowing,
like more
you know, the work will get done. I just want, you know, it's time to have a little bit of fun. Like last week I was on, you know, we went on some walks with the neighbor, and then I met my friend at Starbucks. I mean, I was like busy almost every day of the week, but I decided, you know, I want to be more relaxed. I want to enjoy life, enjoy Anthony. And people want to enjoy Anthony. So that's always works. And plus, you know, it's been really warm here, by the way, because it's been kind of cold, and then it got up to 60 degrees Fahrenheit.
Wow.
And so that's for us, is like, for us, it's really warm. So I've been going out on walks with the neighbor just to kind of, and for me, that's self-care for me.
Yep.
And taking care of Anthony all at the same time. So you find these little moments of doing two things at once: self-care, and yet you're taking care of your baby.
Wow. Well, that is really a very good tip, and it's all goes to like self-love. You have to love yourself back to get back the life that you used to have, and not because that you have a baby. And you were saying that it's good to mix with your friends and bring Anthony out, and you're enjoying it, which is good to have this community, this support group. That maybe this is a very good tip for a lot of expectant mothers, or even for new mothers who have just had your newborn. And what maybe just to hear from you is, what is your definition between the balance between motherhood and also business, like the definition of balancing?
Wow, the definition. I think my definition would be definitely setting boundaries, knowing your limit, and knowing how much you can take from both business and motherhood. You know, I mean, I'm going to be honest. Sometimes with Anthony, he does well from time to time. You know, sometimes when he cries, he gets on my nerves because it's just like that grating noise, and you're tired. That does not help.
Crazy.
Yeah, and you know, it's just giving yourself that grace to. That means put him in his crib and walking away for 10 minutes just to kind of get your sanity. You know, I mean, that's okay. So that's setting that boundary of, you know, when I am getting to that point where I'm about to like snap, because I think everybody kind of gets to that point, because you're tired emotionally, and you're like, you know, this little human takes so much time. And then, so it's just giving myself that boundary of, okay, and that grace once again. And with that business is knowing when to stop working and turn to your baby, you know, because sometimes I do let him fuss a little bit because I'm trying to teach him, you know, to self-soothe. I'm in that phase right now, but, you know, still like, when do you stop working and grab your baby and hold him? It's just setting that boundary and just knowing when to stop, because, you know, I like to get caught up in my work. I'm that person, when I start a project, I don't want to end it until it's done. That's just me. That's how I work. But now I have to put that pause in that, you know, in my project and say, okay, I need to hold Anthony, or I need to, you know, see what's going on with him. I mean, he's always in my, you know, you can see the swing is back there. I have a little walker right here. You know, so it's just, I think to me, the definition of being a parent and then business is setting that boundary, and also setting the boundary of when am I going to stop working for the day. For me, that is a moment my husband comes home. Whenever my husband comes home, I want my shop to be closed. I want to have my computer turned off, so that way we can have a little bit of family time before, of course, we start getting Anthony ready for bed. So I think just setting up those boundaries for yourself. When do you pay attention to your child boundary, and then when to do business? And if he's sleeping, do business. Well, if he's awake, do some business, because I think I want him to know, like later on as he starts, you know,
that mommy's working.
He wants. I want him to. And I want him to also know, like, mom is making her dreams come true. because I felt like, here's another thing that I felt like, I feel like my parents kind of in some ways gave up on their dreams because of us. And it's not a bad thing. I mean, my mom stopped working to be with us, and she homeschooled us. My dad, he was working at a Air Force base, and so I mean, I understand that they wanted to provide for us, but in some ways, I felt like they kind of put their dreams on hold. And I want to show Anthony I can be a parent, yes, and be a successful business owner.
Wow.
I want him to know that there's a yes and life. And I want him to be empowered by that. So one day, if he decides to be an entrepreneur, he can say, I can be an entrepreneur, yes, and be an incredible parent.
Yeah. Wow, that is so inspiring, and that is also exactly why I want to write the book Mother Industrialist, because I believe that parents can be really great role models, and being a mompreneur, you are able to do that because you are able to live life on your own terms. You are able to create, to pursue your passion, to pursue your dreams, and making it come true while becoming a mother. And it's all possible because of internet and technologies. And like what you are doing, you can be anywhere with a laptop, with internet connection. You can just basically work on it, and this is something that is moving ahead. So Monica, I really love what you have shared, and it's really coming mostly to coming to the end of the show. So before we end off, maybe you can share with the audience how can they get connected with you, like in terms of business, or even like from entrepreneur to a mom, or becoming a mompreneur.
So you want to get a hold of me? I would love for you to email me any of your questions. Okay, how do I do XYZ in motherhood? You can email me at Monica, MONICA, @monicawrites.com. Writes as if you're writing a book. So you can visit my website, monicawrites.com. Follow me on Facebook, and it's also Monica Writes, and on Twitter, and that is the @ Monica Wrighton.
Wow. So for the audience out there, I'll be posting the link for you to connect with Monica in the description, or even in the comment section, so you guys can connect with her and ask her the questions. I believe that Monica will be more than glad to answer all the questions.
I will.
Okay. So last but not least, before we wrap up, as a tradition, every guest get to post a question of the day out to the audience and also to the next guest. So Monica, are you ready with your question of the day?
I think I am.
Wow, give it to us.
All right. How do you extend grace to yourself in business and in parenthood?
Okay, how do you extend grace
in business and in parenthood?
Okay, so how do you extend grace in business and parenthood?
Yeah, to yourself.
To yourself.
It seems like that was the theme today.
Yeah, that is really a very very good question. And this question will be posted out to the guests, and also to the audience who are listening and watching this live show, like this interview. And so before we wrap up, any last advice for the mothers who are sitting on the fence thinking whether they should pursue their passion or they should step into entrepreneurship? Any last advice, Monica?
Yeah, I think, there's no better time than today, because you could say, oh, I wait till they're 5 years old. You could, but I'm going to say that you start your dream today. Show your baby, even if the baby is still in you, inside your belly, like still show them that you can have a yes and life. Yes, I can be a mom and be a business owner. And you don't have to start off big. You can start off really small and then work your way up. Because I know for me, once he becomes a toddler, I want to be working less, making more. So right now I'm still in that foundation building. I'm still building my foundation. So begin building your foundation now, so that way you can have the life you want when they are at that that funnel stage, and they're going to start remembering those years of, mom was working, but she attended all my games. She did a lot of things for me. So start that now, because there's no better time than today.
Yes.
And then give yourself grace. This grace.
Wow, that is a very, very good advice, and I'm really looking forward for the following years that as Anthony grew up and your business grow. And I'm so thankful for Monica. Thanks for coming onto my show and shared so much. I would really love to invite you for the next show. So Kenneth here signing off with Monica. Thank you guys for watching. Thank you everyone. And also thanks Monica for making time to come onto my show. So thanks Monica. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thanks everyone. See you guys. Bye. Bye Monica.
Bye.
Thank you.
Bye.
Bye.